Let me open the Power BI once, please. Okay. So we have completed the Power BI related modeling related stuff. Okay. So we just wanted to go through the few of the things in the DAX. So first we'll start with the basic DAX, then we'll go to one by one. I think we have completed all the modeling lizard work. So just need to be there with a few of the things. Okay. So one second. Let me know, guys, once you're available.
Yeah,
See
we
my
can
screen.
see it.
Okay, right. Thanks for that. And let me add one column and let me give the context of the DAX actually. Okay. So DAX is the kind of a formulated language. We call it as a formula language. DAX referring to the DAX, DAX referring data analytical expression. Okay, data analysis or analytical expression. Expression referring function, formula. Okay, any expression we call it in Power BI language. Did you write the expression or how the expression is working? Everything is expression related is like formula. Okay, what kind of a formula you're writing in the function? So DAX is a formula language used basically in Power BI, Power Pivot in case some kind of Excel's Power Pivot we have it there. So basically this is like using the analysis servers as well. We call it as a cube. Some people call it as a cube, but same language and the same kind of a language. There won't be any kind of a differentiations around it. Okay. So this is similar to the Excel formulas. So if you people are aware of the Excel formulas, how that exactly Excel formulas works and all, those familiars, whoever are having that familiars, they can easily see that one. Okay. So it's an approachable language. It don't give you like a huge kind of a coding like something, only that analytical level. Okay. So major analytical level will be there. So in this tax, you have two options. One is that calculated columns. Okay, one is a calculated columns. The second one is measures. Okay, so what is a just want to give it like what is a calculated column? That is, we are bringing a new column into the table. We are calculating a new column, or we are creating a new column based on the proper request. Okay, these are like a columns you adding to the table. Okay, so calculated row by row. It works as row by row. You have a separate data. For example, you have this row, right? If I created a one new column here, like I created a union of two things, right? It is, you can see literally row by row each and every record here. Okay, so but measure is the things like measure is a calculation performing the aggregated value, like aggregated data. They're like a dynamic and responded to the filters in the visual. If you added the filters in the visual like something, then only it will respond to you. Okay, so this is like a responsible to the visual layer. Okay, so if I comes here, if I sum this sales ID, okay, sum of my sales ID, it will be only one amount, right? Like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. If I create that measure, okay, that is a one thing. So it's like everything that is you are accumulating in a one aggregated data called a measure. It will give you only one data in the visual, or you can split by the visual level data. Okay, so let me do it. I think what happened here. Let me read it again. DAX data analysis expression. Okay, and you have one calculated column, comma, measure. Okay, these two things are you have. Sorry, measure, right? So this is a calculated column and the measure. We have two options here. Calculated column, I explain you. It's a physical column. You can see the literally row by row data here. Measure, you cannot see the data until unless you add it into the measure. Okay, you see it. For example, if I added one measure here, is there any measures that we did it as of now? No. I don't think so. We did it because of this. Okay, we created some tables, but we didn't do it. Let me do that. Okay, So let me add a created column. I want to do like my sales ID is wrong. Add sales ID plus one, like 123 should be 124, 343 should be 344. So likewise, you have to add the additional column around it. What I'm doing here, create a new column. This option called a new column. I'm just doing it. Okay, sales new ID. I can see physically this data in the table as a row by row in the column. Okay, sales new ID equal to sales ID plus one. Okay, my calculations are different. Calculations we can understand one by one later. It's like 123 is become 124, 333, 344, 187, 186, 187. This physically becoming one by one and the basis level. Okay, this is what is exactly happening here. So this is, I can see this data. Literally, I can see this data, right? But what if you wanted to create an aggregated value, a measure? Measure what exactly do? It will sum entirely the things. Let me sum the sales ID. Okay, now I'm going to the new measure, sales ID sum. Clearly, I'm mentioning it. Okay, sales ID sum. If I sum the sales ID, okay, so it will give you like this, sum of sales ID. Okay, measure clearly created. You can see this is a measure in the calculated columns, right? But you cannot see anywhere the data until unless you came to the visual and you added one visual and you went to this sales term, and if you add it, then only you can see this value here. Measures value only can see when it applied to the visuals. Remember this. Okay. Yeah, these two things are the calculated columns and the measures. Any questions?
No.
Okay, everybody?
No, yeah.
Cool. If people are okay with that, right? Let's me go with the syntax as well. How the syntax works. Okay. So I'm just giving in a one thing. Whenever you write any kind of a things, I'm just giving as a syntax here. Okay. Syntax means how you wrote that exact thing. All the time, you must have to give the column header, we call it R, a measure name, R, a calculated column name. A name should be unique. You cannot repeat the names in the same table or same entire Power BI module. You cannot repeat that name. Okay. So it should be like, for example, if I'm writing sum of sales, it should be one thing only. Okay. This is my measure name. Before equal to is my measure name. Okay. So what would be my measure name is simply if I give it here, what would be my measure name? It like measure, syntax name, I'm just giving it measure name equal to, then use any function. Okay, any function or calculation, it's up to you. Then use the function, open bracket. Okay, you're using the function, open bracket, table name. Table name, you can directly use the table name. If table name contain any spaces, for example, if table name like this, table name directly, then you can use this table name. If table name like this, table space name, then you have to use a single quotes to apply it exactly. Then use the column bracket, column name. Okay, column name and close this bracket and use for it. Okay, this is the syntax. If I open this sales sum ID, you can see this is my measure name, okay, which is the sales ID sum. My function is a sum of my function basically. Okay, sales data, you have already the space. That's the reason a single quote coming to the picture, and the column brackets will come to the sales ID. Remember this, these are the column brackets that's particularly uses. Okay, but if I use the calendar ID, same measure, I wanted to create one more measure with the calendar. Okay, so if I wanted to use the calendar, just to, I don't want to create, just want to show it to you, right? If I use this calendar, wait, sum of open bracket CAL. Okay, if I use this calendar, you can see there's no single quotes, guys. If I even use the calendar table, there is no single quotes for me. Calendar date. There is a no quotes for me. Okay, why? Because the simple thing. Why? Because There is no space in this between any of the letters. You don't need to mention single quotes, okay, proactively. But if you have any kind of spaces in between, then you must have to do that. Okay, so that is a core functionality of it. So this is our syntax on it, guys. Any questions?
No.
Okay, that's cool.
No.
Just relax. Okay. Right. So now we'll understand one by one. So we'll go one by one. The functions are formulas, the basic formulas and all everything. Okay. But before that, we'll understand how many types of formulas we have. Then tomorrow, at least you people have to come up with the, guys, remember that you have to, to be frankly, you have to come up with, wait, somebody's joined. I think Yadu Madhav is dropped off and joining. You have to come up with a modeling, guys. Okay. So if you, I have a confidence that if you understand it, so I can go ahead with some of the functions, okay, on exactly these things, like how exactly this DAX works connecting to the model. There is some interdependency. That's the reason I'm not going behind something, okay? So, okay, but let me give the context of it. What functions? Under the functions, I'm not going. Overall level, I'm going now, okay? So this is the one thing. Let me go here. And how many types of functions we have? First of all, how many types of functions we have is the one thing that's we'll understand first. There is a 5 to 6 different types of functions we are going to be understanding, guys. There is a 12 to 13, but it's not in our scope. Okay, some things are like data scientist scope, which is not related to us. Right. First one is like aggregated functions. Okay. Aggregation functions. This is the first thing. Second thing is the filter functions. Okay, filter functions. Third thing is date and time functions. Third thing is the date and time functions. Fourth thing is the financial functions. Or we can ignore the financial functions. We can go to the logical functions. Logical functions. The third thing is relationship functions. We use some of the relationship in the models, right? Relationship functions. And if I go to the text functions, text functions. Next is like table functions, or we call it as a table manipulated functions. And the last thing is, the best thing is like time intelligent functions. Time intelligence functions. Okay, so these are the basic functions that we are going to be understanding in the nature. Aggregated functions, filter functions, date and time functions, logical functions, relationship functions, text functions, table functions, and time intelligence functions. Aggregated functions are like sum, average, these all things will come under the, okay, these things. Wait a second. Yeah. Next is the filter functions. How you filter the data into the tables. What kind of a filters it's going to be applied, like how exactly this is the things works under the filter functions. Date and time functions are the same, the remaining the same. Date and time functions will are like date related things and time related things. How many functions we have is the date and time functions. Okay. Next is the logical functions. You apply any kind of a logics, if and so everything, any kind of a logical sense, any kind of calculations you're giving, all comes under the logical things. Relationships, if you don't have active relationship, how can you make the active relationship between these things? Okay, how do exactly those all things works? Next are the text functions. If you want to modify the text to bring the new text, text numbers, everything will come to text functions. A table functions, how do you create a table? What kind of a tables it has? How to merge the tables like we did it in the Power Query editor? How exactly these all things work in the tabular level? Okay, these are the table functions, basic table functions that's going to be allow you to work on that. Okay, so these are the table functions. Next is the time intelligent functions. For example, you have an organization where you're selling the sales and all. What is last year sales? Okay. Instead of going to the date and checking exactly what today and what is last day, there is a time intelligence for the last year same period, or how exactly these 7 or 6 functions works to go back and check the sales for the last year, stay here and check, compare the sales for the current to last year will remain the function of that overview level. Okay. These are the few things in the time intelligence functions we use regularly on regular basis. So those are the kind of important things that we do. Okay, so the 6 or 7 functions will be precisely good. So basically the 7 kind of functions, each category will have 7 to 8 functions, approximately 35 functions we need to be keep in our mind. You don't need to buttify the functions, but you just need to be aware that what function, how exactly those things works in the real time level. Any questions on this, guys?
No.
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 So tomorrow once you back, guys, okay? But tomorrow, once you back, you can go ahead with this. And tomorrow, don't forget, guys. Okay. I think you are staying in the UK, right? There is no elections for you as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can do today, take at least half an hour to do that. I think if I feel that you're good at confident on the this level, like modeling level, I can easily go through this DAX ones. Then we have some additional topics also there. So we can go through the additional topics and work on that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. If anything, please ping me on this. I'll upload the recordings and all. But please come up with the tasks. And tomorrow I'll share some more tasks for you. SQL tasks which Madhava is asking. I'll share those tasks to you as well, guys. But I know this session is very Madhava. You're saying.
No. No. Actually, I think today I have a case, so I will come back same time. So I maybe if I get time, I will do. Otherwise, I wouldn't do. So
No worries.
tomorrow,
Do day after tomorrow. Then in that case, I can start some of the functions tomorrow. Okay.
yeah,
If you do, that will be better. You can understand a bit. Okay. But if we're not, then
I
that's
do.
fine.
I
Okay.
do
Yeah.
definitely. I do definitely. But that's
Sure. Okay. Okay. Okay then. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Are you saying something?
No, I said thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.